Hey you guys, Christine from Madonna Goddess, and I wanted to talk to you about parenting and dating again after divorce, right? If you have kids especially involved. And being worried about letting in a new partner and whether they will like your kids. It should be exactly the opposite way around, right? You should find someone that you like and that they like, right? And kids may get offensive when new people come in, yet they also have a very good sense for people because they are childlike, they are open, they're very receptive, they are knowing, and they're not like as much conditioned as we are, I believe. So while of course you're the adult and you make the decisions on who you let in or not, personally I would recommend to take your kids' opinion into account. So if there's really some really strong feeling that they have towards someone, maybe it's worth listening and considering, and then still weigh up how that feels for you internally. So don't just choose someone to have someone, choose someone that actually fits. Like, know your worth and know your kids' worth, and come from a point that says, well, who is actually worthy of meeting our lives? Who fits my values and my priorities and our lifestyle and what I'm seeking in a partner? Because you also want someone that shows up for you and your children. They will take on, in some way, depending on how old your children are, a kind of stepmother role, especially if they are still little. Right? In my case, I was already an adult, so, and even then, I was already 19 when my parents divorced, but when my parents both had new partners, they have influence on us. They really do. The way they talk to us, the way they are there for us, in both ways, from both of my parents, both their partners have been of amazing influence, even though they're not really parenting us, but they are there for us. They're listening, they're looking out for us. Like, they really are. And I must admit, both of my parents have chosen actually really good partners. Like, I feel really loved by their partners. This is amazing. So I've never really been asked, I don't think, whether, maybe I have, I'm not sure. But I also have never felt any off feeling that I would feel wrong. I just fit it in, And as I say that, let that be another reason you are not choosing to stay in a relationship for your children. That is the most unhealthy relationship you can ever make. It's almost like you're building all that no longer works for you. You know that it doesn't work for you on top of your children's back. Don't do that. They already know anyways. So many people I know that have been in the relationship that knew they never didn't want anymore for another 10 years, and then finally they got out and the kids said, finally mom, finally you did it. Finally dad. Why didn't you leave earlier? I hear that so often. Do not hesitate. And I know we're doubting ourselves. I know we're feeling unworthy and all of that. And we're breaking up a family and all these stories. But you know what? What's good for you is best for your children as well. Including dreadful, painful, highly emotional divorces and separations. Because it's not forever. Yes, you're moving through that, but you're coming out the other end. Right? And even as you're moving through that, you're creating happy memories. It's maybe not as happy as it can be, after a while of being separated when the emotions settle down again. But if you feel internally it's not right for you, everybody else feels that. And if you stay anyways, as I said, you're building a life and a burden on top of yourself, and that weighs down on everybody else, including your kids. And all you teach your kids is to settle for less, to build a life that you don't even like, to do things against your heart and your will and your knowing. And then you want to probably raise children that do exactly the opposite, that do listen to their hearts and that do what feels right for them and that do want to live there. How do they learn that if they see you constantly doing exactly the opposite thing? Some people may fly off and realize that that's not what they want to do, but you know what? If they've never learned how to do it, they may crash hard as they fly out the nest. And if you want to show them by example how to do it, even if there's moments where you don't know how to actually do it, that is where you really teach your kids how to live life. That's when it's okay to make mistakes. That's okay when it's to be okay to value yourselves, to put themselves as a priority, to respect themselves and what's going on for them, to do what's right for you, even though it may be hard, to choose the sometimes for a period of time harder path than to just stay and use the comfortable way, which is actually not comfortable, because the pain you're putting yourself into by staying in a relationship that you know is not good for you is so much harder and worse, and in the long run so much more destructive than saying, you know what, I'm just gonna bite into the sour apple and I'm gonna go the other way. You have no idea what bliss and freedom and everything is waiting for you just by making that decision. Just by making that decision and taking that step of making the decision can set you free for the rest of whatever is coming at you. You know what? So many times I have looked back and said, it looked so hard moving forward. I was like, I don't want to go through this. It's so hard. I know I would have to face it if I choose to walk away now and move forward with what feels right for me. It looked so hard. And I looked back and I thought, oh my goodness, whatever's in front of me, I go, right? I would do anything but going back. But, you know, my relationship has also not been the friendliest. But anyways, the breakup has not been the friendliest. But anyways, I'm coming out now loving all of it and seeing so many happy times where I think, oh my goodness, we had those really loving moments and stuff. And it's okay to love the other parent. And I'm telling you in another video why it is so important to love the other parent and to love both families and so forth and so forth. So, my friends, I also want to say that there may also be a collective feeling of our kids are unfaithful kind of thing, because there's something we have already created outside of the new relationship that we want to create that is already there, right? So there's a lot of opening up we have to do to love them, to love a new relationship, there's a lot of threats we have to work through, right? Especially it depends on how we have been growing up, because there's this deep ingrained idea that you find the right partner, then you get married, best possibly, then you have sex, and then you have children, and then you live happily ever after, never separate, right? But that's really not how it works for so many of us. It's really not how it works. So be extremely kind to yourself, because the feelings you're feeling may also be because someone has taught them to you and you didn't know and whatever. So we have to be extremely kind to lean into that and feel it and let it all out, in order to find the value and actually make choices that reflect you valuing yourself and your children again. So that does really take a lot of opening up. There's no closing down and hiding anymore, especially if you do want that new relationship, right? We may get to a point and like, yeah, that's okay, and we're here, but we're still like kind of holding our heart and kind of being all, right? You gotta open that up and feel it all if you really want someone that suits your life. So please discard all feelings of feeling developed. I mean, I don't want to say discard, because it sounds like I'm not valuing how you feel about yourself, because I do honor that, and you should be honoring that too, to really honor how you feel, but then also feel it all the way through and let it go, because that's then when you realize, you know what, my kids are really not a burden to anyone. We have so much fun. They are so loving. They are knowing. They are adding to my life. They are giving me motivation. They are an inspiration. We have so much fun and adventures. I'm learning so much. They're just amazingly incredible human beings. Even though sometimes, of course, they help us expand in ways that bring up our anger and then make us rage and like, oh, you're stretching it, right? Yet, if you really tune in, the love and stuff that does as well come with that is incredible. And if you're honest, like, would you want to have it any other way? Would you really want to miss them in order to be in a new relationship? Like, you know, really check in how you truly feel about all of it, and where that sense of I wonder if a new partner would like my children, where that really originates from, because it may be some really old collective belief that is sitting there that is so outdated, right? And who makes the rules to your life anyways? You do. And if you are loving you, and you're loving your kids, and you're loving the situation, guess what you attract? Someone that loves you, someone that values you, someone that loves your children, someone that cares for all of you, someone that shows up for all of you, even in situations where it gets hard or uncomfortable or tricky. They are there for you, right? And that's ultimately what you want. So get really clear on that. And I just wanted to say, don't you feel like, you know, be aware, like just feel worthy of someone that suits you and your child and your lifestyle, values and priorities and so forth. If you want to work with me on that and need some ongoing support or maybe some help on stepping out again and resolving those emotions and turning it all around, getting clear on your values and priorities and what you actually want in a new partner and all of that kind of stuff and so much more, my package deal for one-on-one sessions is available for you. It also works for children, so you could use that for moving through separations, you know, wanting to get out of a relationship and just being prepared and having your back. Supporting your kids because you know what you're doing, you just need that support for your children to help them through. I highly recommend to really look after your kids because it can be extremely confronting and hard for them. They do get forgotten, even if you feel like you don't forget, but in separations there's so much emotional stuff going on that it takes a lot of space to be held just for our own stuff, let alone for our kids. So the more support you can get, I recommend go get it and really resource yourself very well and your kids. The easier and faster you will get out of it. You can use the packages for that, 6 sessions. You can use some for yourself, some for your kids, you know, wherever you are at. Yeah, that's there for you, and it's for an incredible price until the 27th of January only. And then on the 27th of January, the price will go up. So highly recommend to book that in now. You can use them weekly, fortnightly, every three weeks, whatever suits you. Yeah. Send me a message if you're interested in that, and I really hope that you find your value and your light, and that you do find and attract someone that reflects that back and that really adds to your life and to your kids' life, right? Because you choose a partner not just for you but also for your kids. So, but also not just for your kids but also for you. You're a priority, everyone else is a necessity, including your kids and the partner. So you are making that choice, yet don't forget they do have an influence on your kids as well. I love you lots. Any questions, shout them out, send me a message, throw them at me. I'm so happy to connect with you. And until then, sending you so much love. Happy New Year again, and watch to see you soon, you guys. Bye.